Gwen, thank you so much for joining us. COVID-19 rang close to home for you. You contracted the virus and you ended up in the hospital for a couple of weeks. Can you describe what symptoms you had and the difficulties that arose with them?
Well, the first thing was that I developed a fever, and then I completely lost my appetite. I couldn't eat anything except for I could eat tangerines for a while, and then I would eat ice chips, but I really couldn't handle any food. Um, I started to feel sort of lethargic, like I can't think of the good word for it, but I just felt that I was sort of losing my consciousness little by little. And that actually was happening because when I got to the hospital, they said that my pulse oxygen was 53 and the lowest that it should be is 88. So
Wow.
I was kind of on the verge of brain damage. And that's kind of how COVID is, that you're really so sick, but you don't think that you are, because my daughter was continually asking me, Mom, are you having trouble breathing? Are you having trouble breathing? And I kept saying, no, I'm fine. But she could hear me down the hall, gasping for breath. So yeah, it was mostly for me. It was just the breath situation, the fever and the loss of appetite and, the loss of, I guess, coherence.
How long were you in the hospital?
23 days.
Oh my goodness. What
And
was that like?
well, actually, from the time that the kids took me to the hospital, I was at Presbyterian Rust in Rio Rancho. They took me there on the evening of March 31st. And from the time I got out of the van and into the wheelchair, they rolled me in. I don't remember anything for the next 8 days. They intubated me, and I was in a medically induced coma for those 8 days. And then when I guess they started to see that I was breathing on my own. So when I woke up, I was intubated for 2 more days. And then after that, they took me, they extubated me, and then they kept me in the ICU, the COVID ICU, for 5 more days. And then after that, after I tested negative twice, they sent me to the regular unit, and I was there for 7 more days.
Mm.
So
How's your recovery going?
It's going marvelously well, actually. Because when I came home from the hospital, I wasn't able to do anything. I was in a wheelchair. I wasn't able to, take care of myself, do any of my bathing and grooming, and I couldn't cook. I was on oxygen for 24/7. I couldn't walk. But within a week's time, I got up out of the wheelchair and I started walking with the walker. And then probably a week or so after that, I started walking around with a cane. And then maybe like a month or month and a half into the recovery, I was able to walk around on my own. And at first I couldn't cook, and I couldn't even be in the room where cooking was taking place because it seemed like it was burning up the oxygen. But eventually my oxygen intake was kind of more normalized, and I was able to take off the oxygen for short periods and start cooking. And I also had physical therapists and nurses that would come in every week, and they helped me so much. I mean, they just really helped me so much with my breathing exercises and exercises. So it's going well. But one thing I'm discovering is, and I'm reading from other people who have experienced this, is that recovery from COVID is not linear. You can have a lot of progress, and then all of a sudden you'll have a setback, then progress again, maybe another setback. And so, yeah, it's kind of up and down.
What are you doing with this experience? How are you processing it?
Well, I actually have written a memoir, and I'm still working on it. It's about 70 pages so far. And I just wrote about what happened from beginning, until now. And, just including some things that I think would be helpful to other people that were helpful to me in my recovery. Because I believe that one of the reasons why I was able to recover so well is because of good diet and prayer and the support of my children and family. And I think that those things are really important. A lot of times people become estranged from their family members, or they, don't think that, prayer and spirituality is important. Many people don't think that what you eat is important, but I think all those things are key in healing.
How did catching the virus change your perception about what the media and what others are saying about the disease?
I believed that the virus was coming and that it was going to be really dangerous. I just didn't expect it to, when it came, I was kind of shocked. But it has made me feel that it's really important to follow the precautions of the doctors and the experts. I wear a mask whenever I go out. I try to do all the hand washing and hand sanitizing and things like that, and also taking many of the supplements that have been recommended, like vitamin C and zinc and so on. I think it's important to listen to science. I really do. And it's other countries that have been having success with keeping the virus at bay, most of which are countries led by women, by the way. But I think we should look to the examples of other people in the world and not be so secular as Americans, because there are other people out there in the world that have good advice and we should follow it.
What about people who've discounted it, saying, oh, it's just a little flu?
Well, sadly for them, many of them get it, and or they have loved ones that get it and they lose them and they change their perspective. So I'm hoping that many of them will change their perspective, if not for their own sake, for the sake of other people,
After your battle with the virus, you started making masks for the homeless community and Black Lives protesters. What was the driving factor for you to do this?
Well, actually, before I got sick, I was working with several faith communities in a project to help feed the homeless. The Lighthouse Muslim community here in Albuquerque started a project about 4 years ago where they were making like brown bag lunches and, snacks and distributing them to the homeless. And so they were also making like hot foods and stuff. So I was participating in the food making. And then at one point I came up with an idea of doing care bags where I was making little drawstring bags and putting toiletries in there. And I made about 600 bags in starting in May 2019 through February. But then after I got sick, they stopped the project for a while when COVID, started. And then I got sick. And after I came out, the imam had contacted people in the various faith communities, because it's the Baha'i faith community, the Mennonite community, and the Bosque Center for Spiritual Living that are collaborating in this project. And he asked if any of the women who could sew or people who could sew would make masks. And I said, well, give me about 2 weeks, because I just got home from the hospital and I'm not sure I could sit up at my sewing machine right away. But as soon as I felt strong enough, I felt like, I needed to give back. And it was an expression of gratitude for my own healing. So I made like 100 masks for the homeless. And then I made about another 50 for various friends and family members, and also for friends that were protesting in the Black Lives Matter protest in New York, New Jersey, and DC.
As a survivor of COVID-19, what's the one takeaway that you want people to understand about the virus?
That I guess no one is immune to the virus, to follow the precautions, that if you're estranged from family members, it's very important to have a support network, to try and reinstitute that love, and also faith, prayer and faith, and eat well. Okay. Eat really, really well. I think it's not really one takeaway, but those things. I think family, love, prayer, and good health and nutrition are important.
Gwen, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you.